he's essentially pimping out our men and women in uniform to a foreign power who's the highest bidder, and saying very blatantly and very directly, well, hey, look, they're paying us for them. He is unfit to be our commander-in-chief.
We need to get back into the Iran nuclear agreement, and we need to negotiate how we can improve it.
Earlier this month, you told our political reporter, Caitlin Huey-Burns, that you would support the Democratic nominee if you end up not winning the primary. Is there any policy a Democratic nominee could hold that would persuade you not to endorse them in the general election?
No, I am, as are all of the other candidates that I'm aware of running for president, committed to defeating Donald Trump in 2020. I look forward and hope to be able to earn that nomination myself, but if not, then I'll join with others in making sure that that happens.
So in this episode, we're going to talk about Tulsi Gabbard.
And I don't know if she's changed some positions or she still has held fast to these positions.
Oh, look. So it says that she did visit the Syrian president, Bashar al-Assad.
Yes.
Put her outside many of the Democratic mainstream. Okay, but why did she meet with him?
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. Not sure. Okay. So starting off, capital punishment, death penalty, abolish it.
No.
Thank you. Cash bail reform, end it. How's that working out in California? Mandatory minimum sentence reform, eliminate them. Private prisons, eliminate them.
No.
I say yes, but
no.
I say yes.
No.
Okay.
You want our federal government to implement the prison system?
I think that should be reformed, but we'll just go through these. Election security, mandate paper ballots. Yes.
Agreed.
That is a yes. Agreed. Okay. Big banks. Bring back Glass-Steagall.
I would have to do more research into that.
I would too. Minimum wage. Here we go. Raise the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. This is in 2020.
Boo.
Does she not know that when you raise these federal minimum wages, I mean, that's government control, right? That's why a lot of businesses have been closing down and have been automating now. So paid leave.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, I think businesses would have automated anyways, but yeah.
Not to the extreme as they are now.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. Paid leave, support broadband, support broad paid family and medical leave plans up to 12 weeks.
I mean, I love that idea, but I don't think that all businesses could support that.
Here we go. Reparations. Study reparations. Now, in 2019, she was a co-sponsor, commissioned to study and develop reparation proposals for African Americans Act. Are you kidding me? People who were never slaves?
Nor their grandparents ever slaves.
Thank you.
At this point, I mean, listen, I'm a historian, so I thoroughly disagree with reparations. And I also think that even if you did reparations, you would have to prove genealogically that your family members were slaves.
Exactly.
And I think when a lot of African Americans start digging into that genealogy, it will surprise you how many people thought they were descended from enslaved persons and really are not descended from enslaved persons.
So basically, she's going off the color of your skin. You need to get free money because of the color of your skin. How racist is that?
In all fairness, Reagan did reparations for Japanese. However, that made a little more sense as most of those children and adults, I mean, this was 40 years after the fact, were still living and alive. But, to implement reparations for a practice that ended 150 years ago doesn't make any sense.
Now, if you made all the Democrats pay, okay, maybe.
No, I mean, yeah, like if you want to make the DNC pay for reparations, since,
sure,
it was the political party that enslaved people, then I guess you could say that.
They
there would
have
be argument
millions.
for that.
Absolutely. I vote yes on that. Cost of college. College should be free. At what cost? Who's going to pay for this? And is it going to be federal college? I have a real problem with that.
I don't necessarily have I have a problem with that, but I do believe that there is a way to do it the way that Europeans have done it. However, our public education system does not, cannot, and is nowhere near able to facilitate a elementary to secondary education like that, like they do in Europe, because our public system abolished the Department of Education. Ever since the Department of Education has come in, has considerably done irreparable damage to our public education system. And we have kids in high school that can't even read on grade level.
They can't add. They think 2 + 2 is 5.
Anyway, so I have a lot of thoughts on that. Should college be free? No, but I do have a lot of thoughts on college.
Yeah, let's go on to student debt. Expand or fix existing debt relief programs. I don't really know what that means. I definitely don't want to pay for your college that you took out a loan in. I don't know what she's really talking about there. Let's see. Campaign finance. Unlimited spending should not be allowed in politics. I agree. Electoral college. The Electoral College should not be abolished, should not be eliminated. I agree.
All right. She's smart.
Yes, I do agree with some of these. Nuclear power. Support closing down existing nuclear power reactors.
Ooh.
That's a no for me. Because how are you going to, let's take the Navy, for example. How are
nuclear power is the
how are they
cleanest
supplied?
energy source
Yes, it is.
that we can harness. So no, I agree. I disagree.
How do you think our aircraft carriers are powered? Oh, support a ban on assault weapons. What's an assault weapon? And she continues to go on and on to this day that she supports the Constitution. Well, this doesn't look like it. But again, this was in 2020, and somebody needs to hold her to task on each and every topic. Background checks. In favor of universal background checks. What do you think about that?
For guns?
Yes.
I don't know.
This is very disturbing. Abortion. Few limits, if any. And she got an F, I have to say, with pro-lifers. Because I think she has some socialistic views, but she also has some libertarian views. So, I mean, few limits, really? That's disgusting. And that is not what a true Republican, a true conservative espouses. We believe in no abortion. We don't believe in killing babies. So I don't know if her views have changed on this, but that was pretty disturbing. ACA, the Affordable Care Act, which is Obamacare. Coverage expansionism, rethink the whole system. Drug costs, importation, and patent breaking. I'm not too sure about this. I haven't really went on a deep dive on this one, but I'm sure our audience probably knows more. Medicare for all. No thanks. What do you think?
I think Medicare for all is the plan to replace the ACA. And I think it's a horrible plan.
I do too. Yeah, single payer.
And I think it's a not very well thought out. Look at the VA. And then you want to do universal health care for all. No. It'll be 20 times worse than the VA. And the VA has a lot of messed up issues.
And when you're in military and you go to the medical clinic, what do they do?
Well, actually, the this is a fun fact. The VA is the second largest socialized medical plan out there in the world is the VA.
I believe it. Okay, I believe it. And she said that with some tweaks, but she should know
Mm-hmm.
that military healthcare is terrible. What
It's
happens?
horrible.
Yeah, it is horrible. When your husband goes, my husband has gone, and what do they give him? Like, oh, let's have physical therapy and have Motrin. It's like they don't fix the problem. It's terrible. DACA, citizenship for dreamers and executive actions to help them legalize in the meantime. I don't really know about this too much. You come here, you have a baby, and they're automatically citizens. But then again, that would be an amendment in the Constitution, which I think
But
Trump is looking
DACA
at.
is not that. DACA
Okay.
is not that. These are kids that were brought here illegally by their
Okay.
parents. And this is something that Obama signed.
Okay, I am incorrect on that.
Yeah.
So if he signed
And
it,
to be honest, I haven't looked too much into the Dreamers Act. I haven't looked really into that. I believe it was supposed to be a pathway for citizenship of these kids. The amount of them that have gotten citizenship since Obama signed this into law, I don't know. I don't know if this is like a way to jump the line and forgo getting citizenship or legal status in the United States. I don't understand it. I don't understand how the Supreme Court approved it. I don't know. I would have to do more research into DACA. However, he signed that now almost a decade ago. At this point, if you are a dreamer and you don't have legal status in the United States, you should go back.
agreed. I feel bad for those kids, the parents
do
who
too.
drag them over here. I do feel bad for them.
You're right. I feel bad
It's
for kids
unfair.
whose parents did drugs too. I
Correct.
feel bad for parents who our parents make decisions that unfortunately affect our life.
That is correct.
So, I mean, it sucks, but when you have hundreds of thousands of kids that get brought over, like, when do you say, hey,
Enough.
like, sorry, enough?
Yeah, that is true.
Go sue your parents for doing this to you. I don't know.
Transportation, pay for infrastructure by winding down spending on wars and overseas military conflicts. I agree with that.
Okay.
I agree with that. And she's really big on military spending. I don't think she's talking about the troops. She's not talking about BAA, BAS. She's not talking about that and their salary. She's talking about all the money to Halliburton that is just making money hand over fist on the backs of our military and never-ending wars. I agree with her on that. Legalize marijuana. For me personally, that's a hard no. That's a gateway drug.
It, even if only for the, you know what? I actually am not necessarily opposed to legalize marijuana or HCG or some of the benefits, because I did actually do a paper on this in high school on legalization of marijuana. What I am opposed to, I think that smoking marijuana should be illegal. Because it's gross. No one wants to smell your weed. It gets all over everything.
Well, when California legalized
I don't think that you should be allowed to smoke marijuana legally.
I agree.
When California, you want to take your pills, you want to take, get your brownies, but smoking it, I think, should be illegal.
California said, okay, you can smoke marijuana. Guess what? In big cities, you can smell it everywhere. People are smoking it in their car.
It's gross. In DC, you can smell it because it's legal here.
I see.
And marijuana, you smell it on the highway. You smell it when you're, it's just everywhere you go. And it stinks so freaking much. You want to do marijuana? Get an effing brownie. Go get marijuana pills from your doctor. But smoking marijuana should be illegal in public because it's a gross habit. It's just disgusting. It's just like chewing tobacco. Gross.
It's legal. Your dip. They can do it. So, marijuana conviction scrapping past pot convictions. I don't know, depending on how much, were you selling it? I don't really, I'm not really sure about this
My
one.
problem with that is if it is legal and you are getting it from a dispensary, that's one thing. But if you are selling it on the street without a license to sell it, then you should go to jail. Because I've had friends who have died from smoking marijuana laced with fentanyl. It is on the streets. These kids are selling it to each other, even in states where it is legal to buy pot. If you are underage and you are selling marijuana, or you are selling marijuana to children underage, or you are selling marijuana without a dispensary license, then you should go to jail, because that marijuana is laced with all kinds of crap.
And even more so now with the open borders, fentanyl is everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, my personal belief is I don't like any type of drug. And you might be saying, or the audience might be saying, well, alcohol's legal. Well, I don't like alcohol either. I'm not calling for
Well, you're
prohibition.
not allowed. Well, listen, you are not allowed to buy alcohol for a minor. That is against the law.
Correct.
Okay. You are also not allowed to drink and drive and put other people at risk.
Correct.
Right?
I mean,
You
people
cannot
do.
legally, the other thing is you cannot legally sell alcohol without an alcohol license.
Correct.
Anywhere. I don't care. Same thing with marijuana. If you are selling marijuana without a license, without a dispensary license, if you are selling it to minors, you should go to jail, and you should
Agreed.
pay the fines for that.
I agree. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, this is
Defense
getting pretty long.
spending, slash the defense budget.
No.
I disagree with that. Bring the troops home. Yes.
Well, not necessarily. Some places they need to stay.
That's true. But she was also talking about closing some bases.
No.
I don't want to close bases.
No, that's some of the reason why our bases are where they are is as much for our own national security as it is for our allies. So no, that's stupid. Don't close it. Like Bagram, I'm so pissed that Biden let Bagram go, because it was a strategic base for us in the Middle East for our national security, and Biden just gave it to Al Qaeda. So no, I don't want to see. I think overseas deployments are necessary. I think that some of the bases that we have are absolutely necessary, and we need to continue to develop partnerships militarily with our allies.
I agree with you. And I think she's talking about here, and like I said, this is a 2020. I think she's talking about in Afghanistan. How long are they going to be there? I mean, the war has been, it's taken a long time, and she just wants to bring those troops home. Now, I don't know if she was talking about all over the world, because you're right. We have bases in Germany, we have it in South Korea, and we do have bases all over the world. And that is where we need to build coalitions there. So, but here, CONUS, continental United States, we have a lot of joint bases now, like in Hawaii. It used to be Pearl, but now it's Joint Base Hickam, I believe. Pearl and Hickam are together. So I think she was also talking about that.
Well, we do have a lot of overseas military partnerships that we partner with other bases, like Lake and Heath, and there are other bases that aren't necessarily our military, but we have military stationed there in partnership with our allies.
Corporate income taxes. Eliminate tax breaks for offshoring. Rural broadband. Looser broadband promises. Social media. We should consider holding companies legally liable for user posts. That's crazy. What about the First Amendment? That's absolutely insane.
I thought she was against censorship.
She said she's against censorship up and down, inside and out. But does she still believe this? We really should find out. Tech competition and antitrust, break them up.
I kind of agree with her.
Support the revised USMCA.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it. So I just want to know, does she still believe in all of this? back in 2020. Somebody asked her line by line.
Yeah. Her wanting to close bases, bringing troops home. I think it shows that her lack of understanding in national security, to be honest. Now, I'm not a neocon. I don't like neocons, but I do understand the concept of, protecting American interests.
She does.
Does
She
she
doesn't like
not
to
understand that?
see. She does not want to see the bodies of males and females in uniform being used for cannon fodder. I understand.
Now, it sounds as if she wants us to be isolationist, and there is an argument for that. Should we be isolationists? However, as a historian myself, I've seen what happens when our nation takes that stance.
We didn't want to get into World War II.
Or World War One.
Right. So,
And we ended up drug into it anyways. So, and the reason why was because of a terrorist attack, both instances. Same with 9/11. So do we want to close bases knowing that it might hamper our intelligence collecting? It might hamper our allies that give us intelligence too. Do we want to do those things?
That's my
And as
problem.
someone with the head of DNI, it seems as though she clearly doesn't understand
She
national
doesn't understand
intelligence.
that. Like I said, I'm just a civilian, but with what my husband has done for over 20 years, collecting. You don't just go out there and collect by yourself. You
Mhm.
have to have alliances. You have to have coalitions.
I
And
just foresee Tulsi Gabbard. I can see her butting heads with the head of other intelligence agencies because of
she
her
should
lack of
not. She should
experience.
not be confirmed. Absolutely not.
Okay. Well, let's leave it at that, and we'll have to see what happens. I'm interested to see her confirmation hearing. I think that there are some senators that I would probably consider neocons that are very interested in protecting our security, that have a lot of questions about her and are going to be, hitting her pretty hard. And the Democrats are not going to go easy on her either. So we'll have to see what happens. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us in this discussion about Tulsi Gabbard. I guess we're going to have to see what happens. Until then, we will see you in the next episode.
And remember, patriotism is not a pejorative term.